Mhm.
Alrighty, hello, Dalia. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I am frozen, so I apologize on my end here.
Fine.
But we've had some great conversation. Prior to us recording yesterday on the phone, we went over the role expectations. But truly, I would just love for you to kickstart this interview and tell me a little bit about your professional experience.
Okay. So I actually have a pretty long background in customer service. I've been in customer service for about 10 years now. I got my first job at 15 at a Captain D's, and then I just gradually moved up from Captain D's to Little Caesars, Domino's. By Domino's, I was an assistant manager, and then I went on to Waffle House, and then after that, I tried to get into some bigger things that were still food based, but more of like behind the scenes as far as like admin. And I ended up at this company. I signed an NDA, so I can't say the name of the company, which is why it's labeled as confidential. But I was kind of like an admin slash PA. Like I told everyone else what to do to make sure everything was running smoothly. So if you were supposed to be, back here at 5 p.m. while this artist is supposed to be here, that was really my job, is making sure everyone got their jobs done as well as maintaining orders and stuff like that. Um,
Oh,
my most
cool.
recent position would have been HR executive at the stadium. I think I did miss that one on my resume just from not having time to update it, but I did a year at the stadium as an HR executive. We did a lot of work with filing, admin work. I got very familiar with Microsoft Teams. They have like a bunch of inner working apps in there. Um, I'm very intermediate level on Excel because it wasn't something we had to use often, but I have used it before. But
Perfect.
it's it's been maybe, I would say probably 10 to 15 years customer service.
Beautiful.
I don't know,
Yeah.
honestly. It's really hard when people ask me that question, like, what do you
Yeah.
say?
No worries. I got you covered. So you touched base on a few key details, right? You mentioned where you started in your career very early on, which is more or less the food industry. You worked your way up to more, professional administrative roles. Um, and so you also mentioned some systems that you've also used. So you really nailed it with your introduction, took away some questions I had for you. So
Oh,
definitely a bonus with that. Now we know that you're applying to a receptionist position. There's a lot that entails to a receptionist role, right? We're kind of tackling the phones, the emails. We're tackling, greeting whomever walks in on top of our administrative duties. So it seems like there's a lot to do throughout the day. How do you keep yourself organized throughout the day?
prioritize. You have to write a list. I know people think it's crazy, but write a list, write a list, write a list. It
Yeah.
it helps. So like for me, realistically, like if I had to I'll use the stadium for example. So like I would have to come in, and this was probably during like new employee enrollment time, but I had a stack of files, and those manila file folders are not that big, but I would have a stack of like 200 employees because there are over 1,000 people at the stadium, where I would have to go through all of their things, alphabetize them as far as it'll go. And then I still had to do their health reporting agreements. So I would make a list on alphabetization and then do my health reporting agreements and then copies last, because you can't make copies and then have be disorganized. So I would always write a list and then get it done that way. But I think it was easier for me just because they let me do it, how it works best for me. I
Yes.
didn't have an office yet, but
Oh no. Well, I'm sorry I didn't have an office, but from what it sounds like you definitely were able to streamline your own process. And that
Mhm.
was a really good example that you just kind of took on that task, ran with it. Over 200 is insane, but you did it. So kudos to you.
Yes, thank you.
Um, Absolutely. Now, just two more questions for you, and I'll wrap it up. But in reference to customer service, right? Because as you mentioned, you have a little over, 10 to 15 or 15 or so years of experience in customer
Mhm.
service. With a receptionist role, really you're all day. You got to have your game face on with customer service.
I
So
love people.
Yeah. What does
Yeah.
customer service mean to you then, Dalia?
Um, Honestly, for me, it's more so just about connecting with the customer, regardless on what it is. Um, it's really easy too, depending on what job you're in. Like if it's food, you can always ask, have you eaten today? What's on your dinner itinerary? Now, if it's like just like office based, my favorite thing is to just like, hey, what are your weekend plans? Because they're gonna tell you. They're gonna tell you. So I like to try to connect with people on whatever I can see. Because then it makes people feel like they're being seen. Even if it's not like you don't know them, it still makes them feel seen. Like, hey, I really love your earrings. And they're going to be like, my earrings, you can see
Yeah.
those? It's
Yeah.
usually something small, but
Uh-uh.
I love to just try to make a personal connection with my customers because I want them to remember me. Like,
Yes.
it's probably something I got in trouble for too, though. Honestly, they're like, you can't be friends with everyone. So
That's right. That's right.
I
Well,
regret.
can't be friends with everyone, but you can definitely be empathetic and really,
Yeah, of
be
course.
personable with them. And it definitely sounds like that's what you pride yourself on. So definitely love
Yes,
that.
I love people. I love people. I love
Yeah, that's
meeting new
amazing.
people.
That's incredible. Now, and thank you for sharing that with me. In reference to, again, my last question here, but in reference to starting a new role, how soon are you available to start?
I actually am pretty open for the time being.
Mhm.
I don't have anything going on. I did just recently finish school, so I actually have a pretty open schedule.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure chatting with you, and it's been great getting to know your professional experience a bit further. I am going to go ahead and conclude this interview, but if you don't
Okay.
mind, stay on the line with me. I want to chat with you.
Okay.
Thank you.